Intimacy is never just physical. It's a psychological exchange disguised as tenderness, and most men completely misunderstand that. They assume it's about the body, about chemistry, about the moment. But for a woman, it goes much deeper. It touches trust, control, surrender, and the invisible exchange of energy between two people. It is the rare space where vulnerability and strength meet at the same time. The tension between those forces is real and powerful. Welcome to ET. If you've been with us for a while, you already know this space is about understanding what's beneath the surface. And if you're new, stay close. Here, we don't chase approval. We study human behavior, psychology, attraction, and the emotional truths people are often too afraid to say out loud. Let's get into it. The first truth is this. When she tests you, she's not attacking you. She's evaluating safety. When a woman becomes intimate with a man, she is not just allowing physical closeness. She is exposing herself emotionally. Even if she pretends it's casual, even if her words say it's no big deal, her body and instincts know it is. Intimacy without emotional security feels like self-betrayal to her core. In that moment, she's silently asking, is this man steady? Is he emotionally grounded? Can he handle my vulnerability without misusing it? If she senses instability, uncontrolled anger, ego, or insecurity, she cannot fully relax. Her deepest instinct is self-protection. But when she feels calm strength from you, when she feels composure and restraint, something shifts. Her openness is not submission, it's respect. It's admiration for your inner discipline. Real power in intimacy is never forced. It is given when she feels safe enough to offer it. But safety alone doesn't create desire. There has to be tension, polarity, energy. That leads to the second truth. Emotional stability is incredibly attractive to her. Attraction isn't logical or equal, it's instinctual. When she feels desire, she's also unconsciously assessing you. Intimacy becomes a silent measure of your presence under pressure. It's not about controlling her, it's about mastering yourself. When a man remains calm, centered, and confident, especially in intense moments, she feels certainty. And certainty is rare. She wants to feel protected in chaos, but she also wants to feel intensity. When your energy carries both strength and stillness, she responds instinctively. Not because she has to, but because something in her recognizes grounded power. She isn't drawn to loud dominance or performative masculinity. She's drawn to gravity, to the man whose presence feels anchored. When you don't react impulsively, when you don't crumble emotionally, when you don't seek validation, you create space for her to soften. Your composure brings peace to her internal storms. And this brings us even deeper. Sometimes the strongest presence in the room is the quietest one. A woman reads more through silence than through words. She notices your breathing, your patience, your reactions. She studies how you handle stillness. Real intimacy is not about overpowering someone. It's about mutual surrender. It's about two people choosing to lower their guard at the same time. The truth most men miss is that intimacy is less about physical dominance and more about emotional leadership. It's about being stable enough that she feels safe revealing her most unguarded self. When she senses that steadiness, she doesn't feel controlled, she feels understood. And when that happens, the connection moves beyond the surface. It becomes something unspoken, something deeper than attraction alone. It becomes trust meeting strength. It becomes vulnerability meeting composure. That's the reality behind intimacy. Not fantasy, not performance, but psychological depth wrapped in tenderness. Every woman, whether she realizes it or not, is constantly observing. When she's around a man, she notices everything. The tone of your voice, the space between your words, the way you breathe, the moments you hesitate. And when intimacy happens, she isn't just experiencing it physically. She's reading you on a deeper level. You may think she's responding to your touch, but what she's truly reacting to is your energy. What you bring into that moment is more than physical presence. It's your honesty, your self-control, your intention. Women are incredibly sensitive to emotional mismatch. If your mouth says, I care, but your vibe feels forced or performative, she'll sense it immediately. That's why inner discipline matters far more than surface-level confidence. When you are genuinely present, not seeking approval, not acting, just grounded in yourself, she feels it. And that feeling allows her to open up. Not because she's fragile, but because your steadiness makes it safe for her to soften. To her, intimacy is like emotional transparency. It's her silent way of asking, "Who are you when you're not trying to impress anyone?" When she encounters calm strength, a man who is composed and self-contained, admiration slowly becomes connection. Because a man who can regulate himself is rare. Self-control is attractive in a way most men underestimate. But calmness alone won't create desire. You can be peaceful and disciplined, but if there's no spark, no edge beneath the surface, she'll simply see you as safe and forgettable. The feminine doesn't just crave comfort. She craves intensity held inside control. That's where attraction becomes powerful. Here's the paradox. She isn't drawn to recklessness, yet she feels pulled toward contained fire. There's something magnetic about a man who is calm, but clearly capable of force. A man who has depth, edge, and passion, yet chooses restraint. That silent message says, "I have power, but I direct it." And that choice is what creates intrigue. It's the balance of strength and discipline that keeps her engaged. She's not fascinated by chaos itself. She's fascinated by power that is mastered. When you hold eye contact just a moment longer, when your touch is intentional and unhurried, when your silence feels deliberate instead of awkward, you're communicating without saying a word. You're showing her that you are in control of yourself. That sense of controlled intensity creates polarity. It makes her feel both safe and excited at the same time. As we go deeper, understand this. Intimacy is never a transaction. It's an exchange. In that space, two nervous systems are interacting. She isn't analyzing technique. She's absorbing the emotional atmosphere you create. If you're anxious, she'll feel tension. If you're calm, her body relaxes. If you're strong yet considerate, she experiences both heat and freedom. That's the real dynamic. Masculine energy provides direction and grounding. Feminine energy brings emotion and depth. When both meet in balance, the experience becomes more than physical pleasure. It turns into recognition. She's responding to the frequency of who you are, not just what you're doing. Energy cannot be faked. If your mind is scattered, she'll sense it. If your intentions are selfish, she'll close up. But if your presence is clear, centered, and intentional, she opens naturally. For her, intimacy isn't about something being done to her. It's about something awakening within her. And that awakening only happens when the man in front of her is anchored in himself. When she offers that level of closeness, she's not surrendering to your body. She's responding to your discipline. That's why men who lack self-mastery often lose her afterward. But the man who is grounded leaves a lasting imprint. Not because of performance, but because of presence. So what does this mean for you? Attraction doesn't start in the bedroom. It begins long before that, in your mindset, your habits, your emotional control. It's less about what you do with her and more about what you've done within yourself. Refine your character, strengthen your focus, clean up your intentions. When your energy is aligned, it speaks louder than any technique ever could. Here at Badwana, we don't chase validation. We build discipline. We move with purpose, patience, and quiet power. Stop obsessing over what women want. Start becoming the kind of man they feel safe and excited around. When you win the internal battle, everything outside becomes simpler. So reflect on this. Which truth challenged you the most? Because once you understand that energy communicates more than words, you stop chasing entirely. You master yourself, and the world responds.